Go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-480-5454. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
It's part sports.
We have football on the brain.
Part pop culture.
Dennis Leary. True or false? You refuse to wear a glove with Mickey Mantle's signature on it for the movie The Sandlot.
The Red Sox blood, the Bruins blood, they run deep.
And in the best celebrity interviews.
Robert De Niro here on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
Just got over a 24-hour virus.
The antidote is to appear on The Rich Eisen Show.
There you go. I would have just done it earlier.
And you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
There is a medicinal quality to appearing on this program.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah, see that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaskifications?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary.
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at AlaskanAC.com.
We bring you all the news and stories of what Arizona Wildcats. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wildcats Radio 1290 for the latest highlights and commentary. Go home to the Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Joseph Tugler's night is done. Elijah Martin to the free throw line where he shoots it at 76%. We're all tied up. Florida has led for a grand total of 17 seconds tonight. They're up by one. National championship is in the balance. 13 seconds left. Florida leads it by 2.
Uzan gotta go.
Uzan, give it up. Cryer, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, Sharp.
He walked, he can't touch it.
He can't. 1 second, and it's over. Florida is back on top of the college basketball world. Championship madness. It's a great day to be a Gator. They win the national title.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. DK on the Sports Tip coming to you live from High Corbett Field. Arizona baseball here tonight against New Mexico State. Florida Gators are the national champions. 14 teams from the SEC qualified for the NCAA tournament, and the final team standing was one of those 14 teams, and it was a team that many people believed, many people believed that Duke was going to win this whole thing because that's just kind of what most people tend to do. And though the Florida Gators proved that they were, in fact, the most cohesive team in this tournament, and just a fabulous, fabulous performance to get the victory. But what happened on that final play? The Cougars could not get a shot off. Let's hear from their head coach, Calvin Sampson.
Yeah, I'm just going through those last 2 possessions more than anything else. It's incomprehensible in that situation. We couldn't get a shot. Gotta get a shot. We're down 2, and obviously we didn't need a 3. But, with Emmanuel, we were struggling to score the entire second half. We got, good looks. But Florida was doing a good job running us off and forcing us to score it. But we just didn't do a very good job of finishing some shots, guys that's been in the paint scoring all year. LJ's developed a really good runner, floater. I didn't go very much tonight. Milos. But, give Florida credit, too. I'm not going to sit up here and poor mouth and pity mouth us. We held that team to 65 points. Clayton and Martin combined to go 5 for 20. If you'd have told me we'd hold those two guys to 5 for 20, and we had a good plan. We just didn't score it well enough to win. We scored it well enough to be in a position to win. But it comes down to those. At the end, you got to get a shot. That's got to do better than that.
And J-Dub, we were just talking about that, and it's I still can't wrap when I think about that. What happened last night? And I think about what happened with the Arizona women, and we went over it a little bit in the last segment. I can't wrap my mind, like he can't wrap his mind around how you don't take a shot. And I'm going to ask you this and see what your thoughts are on it. I thought, and again, this is you're analyzing every possible scenario after the mistake of going to take a shot and not doing it. I thought he should have grabbed the ball, taken the travel to stop the clock. Again, this is just, thinking, he tried to box out defenders to see if one of his guys could get to the ball. Would that have been a thing you think you would have tried to do there? Just grab the ball, take the travel, stop the clock, because they probably could have stopped the clock with about 2 seconds left, and at least then you give yourself a chance to potentially get the ball back again.
Yeah, and that's what most people are wondering, is if he should have just picked the ball up and given Florida the ball, because then you had a chance. I look at it a lot like Caleb Love's half-court shot to tie the game, right? Because the conversation for the next week was, why didn't they foul? Why wouldn't you foul? Why don't you foul? Why don't you foul? Well, again, with 2 seconds left, there's a lot of nitpicking and all of that. I just think they were so disorganized. My biggest takeaway of Coach's statement there was not the final 2 plays. It was the entire second half. Florida did a really good job of keeping Houston's guards out of the lane, which is where they do most of their damage. The shocking takeaway, you just mentioned how dominant Florida was and all that. The shocking takeaway for me, DK, is Florida led this game for 62 seconds.
Right.
Houston had the lead, or the game was tied, for 39. That's 98% of the game. Houston was in control. So, and it's very uncharacteristic. I'm not going to nitpick Emmanuel Sharp and those guys over there, LJ Cryer, simply because, and Milos Uzan especially, because those 3 guards, I've watched many Houston games this year that Arizona was not involved, and those guards, they win games. The reason they won 27 out of the last 28 games prior to last night is because of their closing ability and their shot making from their guards. Just very uncharacteristic. I don't know exactly what it was that the coverage was taking away. I know that Tugler fouled out, and he's a big part of their pick and roll game. He fouled out with about 45 seconds left to go. So that may have contributed to that final play. But yeah, those last 2 possessions, you got to find a way to get the ball up at the rim. And I expect Houston's guards, I expect that they're so well coached. I believe that coaching staff, Coach Sampson and all of them, has their players as well prepared as any other school in the country. Consistently, they win tight games down the stretch of games. So again, I'm the one game out of the entire year, Houston, the biggest game of their lives. And it's just unfortunate that they could not get it done those last few possessions, because that's just kind of what they do. They hold teams down. They keep teams down to the 40% field goal percentage, and their guards just make plays at the end of games. And last night, DK, those guards just did not make the plays they needed to bring the championship home to Houston.
Walter Clayton Jr., who struggled in the first half of that game last night, but really came on and made some big shots down the stretch. Afterward, on the way that the Florida Gators defended that final sequence.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I seen a lot going on. Coach had said we felt like they was gonna try to get some for either Cryer or Roberts, and Sharp kind of creeped down to the baseline. I seen a back screen, so I'm yelling back screen at Doe, and then Sharp ended up slipping it. They tried to set like a little elevator screen, so just went out there. We work on it in practice, kind of closing out, jumping to the side so you don't foul the shooter. So he kind of pump fake, threw the ball down, ended up being a good play. Doe got on it. We won the game, man, and the feeling just surreal. So it's a crazy feeling, man. I honestly can't even explain it, but it feels good though.
Walter Clayton Jr. of the Florida Gators named the most outstanding player of the tournament. Finished the game last night, again on a tear after a slow start, but finished the game with 11 points. Went just 1 for 7 for 3, but hit some key baskets down the stretch to go along with 7 assists for the Gators. Todd Golden, we mentioned, a first-time champion as a head coach in college basketball, Arizona native out of Phoenix, Sunny Slope High School, on what it meant for his team to finish the dream.
It's a heck of an accomplishment. I'm super proud of everybody in my program, top to bottom. My staff, who's been together for 3 years, has worked incredibly hard to help get our players to this point. And our players, they've been the difference all the way along. Been incredibly consistent all year. Have worked with a great work ethic, and obviously we have an incredibly talented group, one of the most talented groups individually in America, but I do think what separates us and what has separated us all season long is our team talent and the way our guys have played together and for each other all year, and because of that, we can call each other national champions for the rest of our lives.
There you go, Todd Golden and his Florida Gators, the national champions of college basketball, and the season is now complete. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I want to ask you, J-Dub, but we talked a little bit last week about that tournament, the Crown, which was also going simultaneously to the NCAA tournament.
Nebraska ball.
Yeah, Nebraska, who ironically we've mentioned them a number of times as being the only one of the I think the only team in Power 5 that's never won a NCAA tournament game.
Famously the only Power 4 conference, I guess since there's 4, the only Power 5, Power 4 conference team ever to not win an NCAA tournament game. Yeah. So the picture of them on the Game of Thrones chair, holding crowns and everything is such a cursed picture because they've never won an NCAA tournament game. But I root for them every year.
So the Crown, they handed out $300,000 in NIL. During that. So I don't know what the cut was, but I don't know if it was like an even cut for all the players. I didn't see in terms of what the cut was for that. I just know that there was a $300,000 price tag on that particular event. Do you think
I got it here.
Okay, go ahead. What's
$500,000 was the prize pool. The champion received $300,000, runner-up $100,000, and semifinal losers $500,000 each. I'm sorry, $50,000 each. Yes.
So then I would imagine each player gets a cut of that $300,000.
Yeah, something like that.
So like what? Let's just we'll do the quick math here. If there's 15 guys on the roster, scholarship guys, I don't know if the walk-ons get a cut or not, but that's about potentially $20,000 for each guy on the roster. Do you think, and maybe we'll make this our question of the day because we don't have one yet, do you think the Crown will eventually become bigger than the NIT?
Well, I mean, the problem is the Crown only involves 3 conferences.
Yeah.
And so that's why when you looked at the NIT lineups, you didn't see a lot of power conferences in there. There are a lot more mid-majors because, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Big 10, the Big 12, and ACC, is it? I'm not sure. So there's only 3 Power 5 conferences involved in this Crown. This was the first year they've held it. It's a Fox Sports entity. So Fox doesn't have basketball this time of year. The NBA playoffs are about to gear up next week. Everybody else has a lot of different networks cover college basketball during the NIT and during the NCAA tournament. Fox does not, so they created this entity, the Crown. I think that it's tough, DK, to market the 69th through 85th best teams in the country. However, if you put them, because people are so basketball crazed this time of year, if you put those games on during the midweek when the other games are not on, you're certainly going to draw quite a few eyeballs just out of interest and people jonesing to watch some basketball. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see, to me, like I like the NIT's legacy of being more important at one point than the NCAA tournament, right? Like the NIT champion back in the 30s and 40s was the college basketball champion. I think it would take some time for the crown to gain as much notoriety, I guess, as NIT. But as far as the potential of having nothing but name brand teams, you could probably potentially get a much higher viewership out of the crown tournament just because of the name recognition than you could in some of those smaller mid-major schools. Mid-majors making deep runs in the NCAA tournament, DK, everybody loves it. Mid-majors making deep runs in the NIT tournament doesn't exactly lend itself to high viewership totals. So if you're talking about Nebraska and some of the bigger name, schools that have huge fan bases, I have no doubt that the crown will be successful as far as their television ratings go.
Right.
I don't know where it ranks as far as, do you hang a college basketball crown banner up there in Nebraska? I mean, is that how this works?
I did not watch any of it.
Yeah, me either. I didn't see I saw
and
some
my alma mater
highlights.
was in it, and I didn't watch any of it.
I saw highlights. I didn't watch any games.
Yeah. So I'm going to put that up as our question of the day. So it's going to be a two-part question. First, did you watch the college basketball crown tournament? Second, do you think this event could become bigger than the NIT at some point? Because, again, you've got 3 power conference.
Yeah, I got a correction. Okay. It's a Big 10, Big 12, Big East. So the bigs. It's the 3 bigs.
You've got 3 power conferences that are involved. Well, 2 power conferences in the Big East because the Big East is not a power conference.
That's so sad that you even had to say that, man. I remember when the Big East was the best conference.
When they were the best conference, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Could this event become bigger, do you think, than the NIT? So we'll get that up on our Twitter account, and you can head on over there and vote on that. And Cricket is right now going to get you home as well as she does every 20 minutes on the 5s. The New Mexico Aggies bus has pulled up. They are here for tonight's game. 6 o'clock first pitch, 5:50 broadcast time with Brian Jeffries right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Take it away, Cricket.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Southbound I-19 approaching San Javier, vehicle fire, stay left to get by. Southbound I-19 is backed up from just as you approach San Javier all the way back to Ajo Way. Collisions that are reported, Speedway and Wilmot, Houghton and Golf Links, and also Silver Bell and St. Mary's. 59 the low, 93 tomorrow, 96 Thursday, 100 by Friday, 89 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places to take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
O'Reilly.
Extend the life of your engine with a full synthetic oil change and save at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, pick up 5 quarts of O'Reilly full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99. Or upgrade to a MicroGuard Select filter for just $2 more. Limit supply. Offer in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/.
This is Andrew Bogish with a Sports Minute sponsored by Ego, power beyond belief. This is why I avoid sweeping generalizations after one game. So many were so quick Saturday night to say Houston's culture and experience were better than Duke's freshmen. But then the Cougars played like freshmen down the stretch last night, allowing Florida to steal the national title.
DK on the
Sometimes
Sports
it's just
Tip.
about one team being better.
5208.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We are coming to you live from High Corbett Field out here at the stadium in the Reed Park neighborhood. It is Arizona and New Mexico State tonight. The Aggies have just arrived here at the facility for tonight's ball game, which will be getting underway here in about 2 hours. That's about the time that we've got you to. We'll take you right up to about 5:50 tonight. Brian Jeffries will have the call on tonight's game. Don't forget, we've got it just about to hit the post on this right now. So if you head on over to our Twitter account at Wildcats1290, you can vote in our question of the day. Did you watch the college basketball crown tournament that was won by Nebraska over Central Florida from the Big 12? So, shout out to Johnny Dawkins and his team for getting to that particular ball game. Their star guard had a pretty good night that night. Jordan Ivy Curry had 29 points off the bench, hitting 12 of 22 from the floor for Central Florida as they tried to end their season on a winning note, but Nebraska got the better of it with a 77-66 win. Did you watch any of the College Basketball Crown, which was on Fox? And do you think this event could become bigger than the NIT as the secondary postseason tournament for men's college basketball? Head on over right now to our Twitter account. The ways you can vote are yes and yes. Yes, I watched it. Yes, I believe that this event can become bigger than the NIT. Yes and no. Yes, I watched it. No, I do not think this event can become bigger than the NIT. No and yes. No, I didn't watch. But yes, I think it could become bigger than the NIT. And no. No, I did not watch. No, I don't think that this event will become bigger than the NIT. Head on over right now, very early on. I think we have 5 votes since we hit go on this, and everybody is saying no and no. No, I did not watch the College Basketball Crown, and no, I do not think that the College Basketball Crown will ever become bigger than the NIT. That's interesting because that's essentially that. Apparently, that's what our guy Gus Johnson did the broadcast, and he said at the end, he said this is only going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I did look it up, and it was about the same as far as the viewership.
Right.
So about 800,000 watched both the NIT final and the Crown final.
Okay. There you go.
Now, the NIT final was Chattanooga versus UC Irvine.
All right.
Which is what I meant about the name. Right. And we over here on the west side of the country understand that. But relative to somebody who's, up in Maine, they probably aren't tuning in for some smaller college, but they might if they have affiliation with some of the bigger schools.
Right.
And that's why I think the Crown will be successful, just because of the name recognition.
Chattanooga and Irvine versus Central Florida and Nebraska.
I mean, how many Nebraska fans alone are there in this world? Just based off the black shirt era.
Kidding me?
Like, just based off of Nebraska football in the 80s and 90s. There's millions and millions of Nebraska fans.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And, well, we'll see. We'll see if this is something that parlays or sparks a run for Nebraska next year to get to that NCAA tournament and win that first ever game that they so anxiously want to win.
Watch out, just throwing parlays out as like a verb, because Fred might get excited when you say stuff like that.
Absolutely. All right, that's true. Speaking of that, it is time for your BetMGM Network Top Play. And your BetMGM Top Play is this.
I'm Chelsea Messenger, helping you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. 2 great pitchers face off tonight in Phillies and Braves, with Zach Wheeler and Chris Sale going toe-to-toe. But the lineups look far from even. The Phillies rank 3rd in OPS. Meanwhile, the Braves are dead last in the same category. The price is too nice to pass up playing the better overall team. Take the Phillies at close to even money over the Braves. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
All right, Phillies and Braves, that's getting set. We had to give it go to this segment a little earlier because that game is scheduled first pitch at 4:15. So they're saying take the Phillies, and again, this is plus money, not big plus money, but plus money tonight. If you want to take the Phillies on the money line, it's at plus 102 right now, so $12.90 to win $13.16. Phillies on the money line over the Braves. That game gets underway here at about 4:15. Now, last night we had 2 bets on the national championship game. Houston plus 1.5. Oh, you cannot write this stuff. You really cannot write this
They
stuff.
know what they're doing in Vegas.
Apparently,
That's what I'll
right?
say. Yeah. They've been doing it a long time.
Plus 1.5. Florida wins by 2 points. So we lost on that one right there. Now, we had an interesting one. First half, under 65.5 points. Halftime score was 31-28. That is 59. So we won on that particular play right there. Houston, Florida, under 65.5 in the first half. It came in at 59. So we had one win and we had one loss last night. So we're still quite a bit in the hole at some $61. But, hey, basketball season has now come to an end, and from here on out it'll be baseball and probably some NFL kind of stuff as well. We'll give you some of the other. They've given us a lot of futures. We'll start going over some of the future plays we've gotten. Just like most people are picking the Dodgers to win the World Series. That's still a pretty good bet. It started at plus 265. Right now it's at plus 215, so you can still get plus money on the Dodgers to win the World Series. Although they have slowed down a little bit, have the Dodgers, since they've gone on their road trip, since they left Los Angeles. So they're not quite as hot as they were, but they're still plus 215 to win the World Series if you want to take the Dodgers. We'll give you some more tomorrow. I'll give you a National League National League MVP pick that's not named Shohei Ohtani. I'll give that to you coming up tomorrow. Those are your BetMGM Network top plays. Bet smarter and beat the books. Take the Phillies on the money line over the Braves at plus 102 right now. That is the line over at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. Play locally at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. Play nationally at BetMGM Network. All right, Wildcats Radio 1290 presents Easter Sunday at the Pima County Fair. This is on April the 20th. Get free admission until noon with 3 cans of food. It's also a wristband day. Just $30 for unlimited rides until 6 p.m. Head on over right now to PimaCountyFair.com, or you can call 762-FAIR. That's 762-FAIR for more information. The Pima County Fair, of course, located 1 mile south of I-10 on Houghton Road out in the Vale area. Pictures with the Easter Bunny will be available on Easter Sunday. Of course, you cannot have Easter Sunday without not having the Easter Bunny, right? There'll be treat bags for the first 500 kids through the doors under 10 years old. Maybe there'll be some colored eggs in there as well. Did you color eggs when you were growing up, J-Dub?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Absolutely. Did you have
I mean, I did go to school to be an artist, so yeah, I did color a few eggs in my life.
So
yeah.
you probably did more than color. You probably actually decorated eggs then.
Yeah. I mean, I was an only child, so like I didn't have a giant family boiling eggs and everybody, out trying to outdo each other with their egg coloring skills. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody who grew, I don't know anybody, DK, who didn't color eggs. Let's put it that way.
There you go. Baby Shark will be on hand at the Pima County Fair on Easter Sunday. There will be a lowrider car show that day as well. All of that is included with your cost of the fair admission, which, again, if you take 3 cans of food, that fair admission is for free on Sunday, April the 20th, which is Easter Sunday. Also, again, it's wristband day. So for $30, you get unlimited rides with that wristband until 6 o'clock. Wildcats Radio 1290 presents Easter Sunday at the Pima County Fair on April the 20th. All right, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We've got much more coming up for you in store in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to talk to Chip Hale, the head coach of your Arizona baseball team. I said New Mexico State has arrived. Batting practice going on right now, getting set for first pitch tonight, and it'll be the Wildcats and the Aggies. And again, head on over right now to our Twitter page, Wildcats1290. Vote in our poll. We were talking about the College Basketball Crown, which was the NIL event that we saw during the postseason. $300,000 went to the Nebraska Cornhuskers, putting some money in those players' pockets. Did you watch the College Basketball Crown, and do you think this event could be bigger than the NIT? Yes and yes, yes and no, no and yes, no and no. We do have one vote so far for yes and yes. Yes, they watched the College Basketball Crown. Yes, they do think this could be a bigger event than the NIT.
I wonder if we should preface that by, did you watch it without the team that you've rooted for your whole life being involved? Right? Because I'm curious about the average casual fan who tuned in and watched either the NIT or the Crown when they weren't Nebraska ball fans or that kind of thing.
Right. Well, if you want to put that in the comments, actually, I think we do have one comment here on this. Let me read that before we take ourselves to break right here. Tucson born and bred says, yes, but I was in Omaha yesterday for work.
Yeah.
And sure heard about it from my brother-in-law. Nebraska won.
Try to go to a single bar in Omaha yesterday and not watch the Crown. How's that?
Exactly. There you go. DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are reported, might have some slowdowns at Houghton and Golf Links, Silver Bell and St. Mary's, also Wilmot and Speedway. Collision reported Broadway Boulevard and Dodge. Traffic signals malfunctioning near Pima Community College East Campus at Irvington and Fred Inky Drive. Southbound I-19 approaching San Javier, vehicle fire, stay left, and freeway travel backed up to Ahaway. 59 the low, 93 tomorrow, 96 Thursday, 100 by Friday, and 90 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery. When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates, like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
Every day when we're on the road, people around us endanger themselves and others by looking at their phones while driving. There's the sneak-a-peeker who darts their eyes between the road and their texts, or the nightlighter who illuminates their car after dark. If that's you, reconsider before you find yourself becoming the fender bender-er, the got a ticket-er, or worst of all, the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More, the place to go for sipping rosés with seltzers on ice, making margaritas with your favorite tequilas. It's warm out, let's go. Our prices are low on spirits, beer, and wine. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
He's coming.
coming. Here he goes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless.
What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. No one is talking Roadrunners, Sugar Skulls, and FC Tucson like us. We are Southern Arizona's #1 sports station, Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Coming to you live from High Corbett Field. It is Arizona baseball tonight. The Wildcats and the New Mexico State Lobos will play the first of their 2 games that they play annually. I believe both games this year are here in Tucson. Last year they did split these games up and play a game in Las Cruces. However, this year they'll play both of these games here in Tucson. Tonight will be the first of the 2 meetings. And the second meeting will come 3 weeks from tonight, when New Mexico State will come back again on Tuesday, April the 29th. Wildcats will be home for 5 games. This is the first of a 5-game homestand for the Wildcats, as they'll take on New Mexico State here tonight. And then they'll have the weekend series coming up against Oklahoma State. And that'll be Friday night and Saturday night with games at 6 o'clock. Sunday, a noon start against the Cowboys. And then it'll be Grand Canyon in here for the final game of the homestand. And that'll be next Tuesday night. So plenty of opportunity to come out here and see your Arizona Wildcats play some baseball this week, coming off a Territorial Cup Series win over the Arizona State Sun Devils up in Phoenix this past weekend.
How long, DK, before GCU becomes the rival? Because it seems like between, the way the football, men's basketball, and all the other things have gone on recently, and the way the women's basketball season ended, GCU, I mean, that whole athletic department, and they've been putting on the Batcats recently. So, yeah, they're inching closer to that rivalry status.
Yeah, well, Arizona State's really good this year. I mean, and I don't know that there's been too many years recently when both Arizona and Arizona State are about equal, and this is one of those years. I mean, both teams right now are 8-4, tied for 3rd place in the Big 12 Conference. Kansas is in first place at 9-3, and then Virginia comes in at 7-3. 2 of their 3 losses for Virginia came at home to Arizona, so the Wildcats have an advantage there, even though the Mountaineers have won 5 games in a row. Kansas has won 6 consecutive ball games in conference and 9 in a row overall. Then you've got the 4 teams that are all tied at 8-4: TCU, Arizona, Arizona State, and Kansas State. The hottest team of those right now are the Horned Frogs. You'll remember the Horned Frogs ended the Wildcats season a few years ago as well. The Horned Frogs have won 6 games in a row, and they are 25-8 overall. Right now, Kansas and Virginia are tied for the most wins overall in the conference at 27. That is one of the reasons why Virginia, they are 27-4 on the season. Kansas is 27-6 on the year. After that, Cincinnati is even at 6-6. Baylor, Houston, Texas Tech, all 5-7. Oklahoma State will come in here this weekend. They are 4-6. They, like West Virginia, have played just 10 games this season. And then BYU at 4-8. The bottom two teams right now in the conference in terms of Big 12 baseball, Central Florida at 3-9, and then Utah at 2-10. 14 of the 16 teams play baseball. Colorado is one that does not. I'm trying to just look at this and see if I can guess what the other team is off the top of my head. That
You think Dion might get that changed at some point?
Well, he played a little baseball on his
Just
time.
a little, DK, just a little. Also, real quick shout out to Debbie Gatewood because the Arkansas Razorbacks are currently ranked number 1 in the country.
Ooh,
30-3 on the season.
There you go.
It's nothing but ACC and SEC, by the way, at the top, and Oregon State, as always.
I'm trying to see what team I'm missing here. I still don't know all the Big 12 teams enough to be able to look at this and say, what is the other team I'm missing that does not play baseball? I got 2 Arizonas. I got 2 Kansases. I got TCU and Baylor and Tech and Houston.
They're really good at basketball.
They're really good at no, I got Houston. I got Iowa State.
Yep,
Iowa
State.
State is the only. Wow, I would not have known that they didn't play baseball at Iowa State. There you go. So Iowa State and Colorado are the 2 teams that do not play baseball in the Big 12. Interesting. 520-848-1290 if you want to get in on any of that conversation right there. If you're headed out to the game tonight, would love to hear from you about some Arizona baseball here tonight. Now, let's talk a little bit about the shocking news that came out of the National Basketball Association today. The playoffs are about to start. The Denver Nuggets, 2 years removed from winning it all and several weeks away from being home court advantage in the first round, fired Michael Malone today, their head coach, and announced that they are not going to extend the contract of their general manager, Calvin Booth. The regular season ends this week, right? I think this is the last week.
They got 3 games. The Nuggets have 3 games left.
Yeah. The regular season ends this week, and the Nuggets have fired their head coach, the second team to fire a head coach within the last month. Stunning move for a team that is 15 games over 500, but is slumping. The Nuggets have lost 4 consecutive ball games. Let's first hear, J-Dub, from Michael Malone, who talked about 10 days ago about some of the inconsistencies that were taking place with his team.
Well, yeah, I mean, like we talk about it, we prepare, and we try to do our job as coaches, and our players try to do their job, and we're all in it together. It's never us versus them. Like when we lose, I blame myself always. Like I know I could have done something else to help this team win. And I think if we all get into a mindset of ask yourself what you can do first, what could I have done better? So easy, you see teams that want to assign blame and place blame elsewhere. No, it's like we all could have been better. And with 8 games to go, and I think we're 10-9 since the All-Star break, never really found like a rhythm. We won 9 games in a row going into it, and coming out, very difficult schedule. Some guys in and out of the lineup. We've just been, win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 2. And we have to find a way to try to shake that going into the postseason because it's real. You don't have that. Okay, let's turn it on now. And I know Nicola had said that a little while ago. Like, I've been around the league a long time. There is no magic switch. And so my hope is if we can get healthy, again, I think it's only 21 games now with our starting lineup in place on the whole season. And if Jamal can't go, it's hard to get a 5-man group into a great rhythm when they've never had it all season long. So we just got to keep on pounding that rock.
Yeah, I mean, and this is, again, we mentioned that they've lost 4 games in a row, but this has been a little bit of a downtrend since the All-Star break. They're only 11-13 since the All-Star break, and apparently ownership was in town and sat and watched what was going on and decided that we've got to make a move to try and maybe see if we can spark something for the postseason. But, wow, I mean, Michael Malone, who delivered the first championship in Nuggets history, just like that 2 years later, is out of the job.
Two things. There's a really crazy stat. You ready? The last 7 NBA champions, okay?
Yeah.
5 of their coaches have been fired. Only Steve Kerr was not fired, and Joe Mazzulla, who won the title for the Celtics last year. Every other coach that's won a title in the last 7 years was fired. And that includes Nick Nurse from the Raptors,
Right.
Vogel with the Lakers and the Suns, right? He got fired twice. Budenholzer got fired from the Bucks, and Tyronn Lue from the Cavs. The thing about it, they're talking a lot about how there's a little bit of bad blood in that front office and that the GM and coach didn't get along. DK, it reminds me a little bit of Kelvin Ifon, right? So
Right.
about 2 months ago, the Utah head coach was fired. Wasn't it Utah? Their coach was fired right before Arizona played them.
Craig Smith.
Yeah. So Craig Smith got fired the game before Arizona, and what Kelvin said on the air, I'll never forget it. He said, "You know why he got fired was so that he didn't have the opportunity to have success." Right? So like they fired him in case he turned it around at the end, and they would have had a much more difficult job convincing their boosters and whatnot not to bring him back. I believe that this is the same situation. I think that this firing today of Coach Malone 3 games before the end of the year quite literally has to be from ownership standpoint of, if this guy goes on to lead us to a title this year, we're not going to be able to fire him. And they didn't want his leadership there anymore. So they pulled the trigger. 3 games left in the season, DK. It's crazy.
It is absolutely crazy. And again, it comes on the heels of the Memphis Grizzlies, who are also in a prime playoff position in the Western Conference, firing their head coach, Taylor Jenkins, last month. And this is what Michael Malone had to say. And in fact, I think he made these comments the day after.
This was the 28th of March. So this was 10 days ago.
10 days ago, right after the Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins.
Nothing surprises in this league anymore, Coach. The news of Taylor Jenkins getting let go with the team that's playing so well. How does that go down?
Maybe I should be more in tune to what's going on in the world. Ryan Bowen said to me, "Hey, how about Taylor?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he told me he got fired. And I should be way beyond the point of being surprised by anything. I should be, but I was shocked. I really was. I mean, there's 8-9 games to go. They're tied for 4th place in the Western Conference. Taylor has showed himself to be one of the best coaches in the league. And it reminded me of, my father was an assistant coach in Cleveland with Paul Silas. And 18 games to go, they fired Paul Silas. And they named my father the interim coach. And he called me up in a panic. He goes, "I don't want this. I don't want this job." Not because he was afraid of the job and the challenge, because he respected Paul Silas so much. So for Taylor to get fired is at this late stage of the season, and for them to be where they are is really shocking and odd at the same time. I just can't wrap my head around it. There must be something going on that we're all not privy to. It's none of my business how they run their operation, how their operation. But as I told Taylor, we have the same agent. He's going to have many suitors calling him. And I got fired in Sacramento. It's never easy going through that for you and a family, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm sure the same thing's going to happen for Taylor Jenkins.
Kind of prophetic, right? I mean, This is 10 days ago, and Michael Malone talking about the firing of Taylor Jenkins. 10 days later, this NBA championship coach, what was it, 3 years ago they won the title? And they're currently in 4th place, guys. 4th place in the Western Conference, and he got let go today.
Well,
3 games left.
not for long, apparently. Mike Budenholzer won a title just it seems like the other day over the Suns in Milwaukee, and now he's in a different job. So
Vogel, Ty Lue is an assistant somewhere too, right? I mean, Nick Nurse, Frank Vogel, Mike Budenholzer, they've all landed on their feet. I think the longest tenured, the 4th longest tenured has been there for 6 years now. So there's not a lot of tenure right now among NBA head coaches.
Not at all. Not at all. All right, we're joined by the 3rd member of our team today. Dragon Ball has the day off. He'll be on the tonight, so stay tuned for that. 5:50, Brian Jeffries coming up. 6 o'clock will be first pitch. Cricket joins us now back in studio. Cricket, we are anticipating 97 degrees on Thursday here in southern Arizona. I don't remember, like, I've lived here a long time, but I don't remember it getting this hot. So this has been, would we say this has been an unusually warmer winter than before? Because I don't remember really too many really, really cold nights, although now that I'm not in TV anymore, I'm not necessarily outside as much as I used to be at like 1 or 2 in the morning when I would be leaving work to come home from television, and it would be freezing cold. But it seems like this has been more of an unusually warm a winter, and the fact that we're going to almost maybe hit 100 in April, I can't remember the last time that it's been that hot this quickly here in southern Arizona. Have either of you two remembered it getting hot so quickly, and if this in your memory is one of the warmer winters we've had here?
I think so. Seems like it was a little bit warmer than usual.
The record was 1989. And that was April 19th.
That it hit 100?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Last year, April 19th, 1989. That's the earliest 100-degree day in Tucson history. Last year, guys, it was the 30th of April. And the year before as well.
Oh, okay.
Was the first 100-degree day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's so hard to gauge. I think, what was it, last week in the 50s?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
30 degrees swing in 1 week.
Relative to, like, the question was, is this one of the warmer winters I can remember? I mean, there were some cold weeks and some warm weeks. It wasn't consistently a higher temperature than usual. I think there's more snow, it feels like, in the mountains this year than they've had in recent years.
Really?
Every time I look online, there's pictures of...
Like the mountains around us? Because I
Mount Lemmon, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to me that I have not seen as much snow on the caps.
Well, there's a webcam that's going 24 hours a day. And anytime anytime the temperature in Tucson is in the 50s and it gets, 25 degrees colder up there and there's any precipitation, there's a good chance of snow. So
yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Do you think it'll hit 100 this week?
Of course. Yeah.
Yes?
I do.
All right.
I mean, it would break the record by 8 days if it did.
Maybe we'll make that our question of the day for tomorrow. Do you think we're going to hit 100 before the end of the week?
I gave up trying to predict weather in my teens, but I just know to always bring sunscreen with me this time of year. That's all.
There you go. Now, spray or rub? I think we had this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the brand. Spray can get sticky sometimes, but so can rub. So it's
spray
oily.
Or rub. Spray or rub.
I just don't like sticky or oily. How about you?
I don't like either one.
Oh.
I don't like it at all.
That's why you're always wearing long sleeves, right?
Probably.
They got roll-ons now too.
Oh, they have a roll-on?
Yeah.
I might be into that.
Roll-ons.
Yeah, you could try that.
Wow.
I could try it.
The key is if you're native to Tucson, your biggest way to get out of the sun is to not go outside.
Yeah, exactly.
This time
Stay
during
inside.
the summer,
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, as a kid, I just spent all my days outside playing soccer or basketball. But once I got a little older, it's less outdoor activities once the sun gets incredibly hot this time.
That's a good idea.
All right, coming up, we'll ask Chip Hale, the head coach of your Arizona baseball team, about his decision to put first baseman Andrew Kane in the outfield. Cricket getting you home, though, every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Some backups on southbound I-19, some slowing between Valencia and the I-10 I-19 junction for southbound I-19. Backups on southbound Nogales Highway at Aerospace Parkway. And earlier collisions, Silver Bell and St. Mary's, also Speedway in Wilmot. 59 the overnight low, 93 tomorrow, 97 Thursday, 100 by Friday, and 90 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Air, they help with any of your comfort needs, always keeping you warm. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected heating experts, CoolWillies.com, where they're big enough to help and small enough to care. That's CoolWillies.com.
Rusty's Family Restaurant and Sports Grill, located at Grand Silver Bell, offers a fun vibe with a great happy hour atmosphere. Spring is here and it's baseball season. Rusty's has more than 45 TVs, broadcasting every sport known to man. They even have booths with personal TVs. Rusty's elevated menu includes delicious wings, amazing burgers, super salads, and much more. See their complete menu at rustystucson.com. Check out Rusty's Beer of the Month, Stacy's Sassy Blonde by Huss Brewing Company, and Sam Adams Cold Snap to celebrate Stacy's 20 years at Rusty's. If you know, you know. Rusty's also carries a large selection of bottled beer, draft beer, wine, and cocktails. Rusty's Family Restaurant and Sports Grill, located at Grant and Silverbell.
And this Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from Rusty's Family Restaurant and Sports Grill. You could get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at wildcatsradio1290.com.
If you're ready to build your dream home, let the Window Depot help. Our expertise spans more than 20 years helping contractors provide custom windows built to last. Our in-house design team works closely with you and your contractor to create the perfect windows. From design to delivery, your contractor will have exactly what they need when they need it. And with the largest inventory and unbeatable prices, your dream windows are just a step away. Visit us in store to get started or find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot. Best prices, biggest inventory.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Every day when we're on the road, people around us endanger themselves and others by looking at their phones while driving. There's the sneak-a-peeker who darts their eyes between the road and their texts, or the nightlighter who illuminates their car after dark. If that's you, reconsider before you find yourself becoming the fender bender-er, the got a ticket-er, or worst of all, the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text CUT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text CUT to 42424. That's CUT to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Hey, it's DK on the Sports Tip. Don't miss a minute of the best Arizona Wildcats coverage in town. Tell your Alexa device to play Wildcats Radio 1290. This is your home of Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Omar Reese with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Day one of the voluntary offseason program kicked off Monday for the Bears, Patriots, and Jets. Teams with new head coaches getting an early start. 7 teams have new head coaches. Jags and Raiders start Tuesday, and the Cowboys and Saints kick off next week. Speaking of the Raiders, Geno Smith was introduced in Las Vegas on Monday with general manager John Spytek and head coach Pete Carroll. Smith talking about reuniting with Carroll, telling reporters, quote, "I think there is unfinished business. And I think when people think about my story, you know, Coach Carroll was a big part of that." The Raiders are also hosting several top draft prospects this week, including Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty and Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. Meanwhile, the Dolphins will host LSU tight end Mason Taylor this week. Taylor's the son of longtime Dolphins pass rusher and Pro Football Hall of Famer Jason Taylor. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
I
had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time, and the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during SpringFest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Arizona, New Mexico State tonight here at High C. Pleased to be joined right now by the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Chip Hale. Cats coming off taking 2 out of 3 from the Sun Devils on the road. That's a good weekend, Chip. You had a chance to get the sweep there. Didn't finish it out, but still taking 3 out of 4 so far from the rivals is good for the rivalry.
I agree. Yeah, no, anytime you can beat the Devils, especially up there, and as hot as they were going in, we were excited. I thought the Friday night game was electric, and then Owen Kramkowski was so good on Saturday, and we did have a chance on Sunday. We just sort of petered out a little bit. I think they did a really good job of battling, and the reliever came in and shut us down. But, yeah, happy with the end result. 2 out of 3 is what we go for every weekend. Would love to have the sweep, but that's the way it works.
You talked about Kramkowski, and he really cut down on the walks in that ball game. Just one. What was special about what he was able to do out there for those 8 2/3 innings?
Yeah, no doubt. His sinker was working. I thought the coaches did a really good job on the defensive positioning. We really look at that heavy and hard every day. They were just in there right now looking at New Mexico State. So I was happy to see that it paid off. Sometimes you get some weird – balls off the fists or off the end, and your positioning looks so out of whack. But everybody seemed to be in the right spot. Got a ton of ground balls. I think there was 2 fly balls, other than, I think the one that Kane got over his head, then Kane caught one, and then the rest were ground balls, and guys were making great plays. Mason White had a really good game on defense.
Was he a little upset that he couldn't? Y'all wouldn't even in there for that last out?
I don't think he was upset. I think he did understand that he was a little tired. In that inning, they just started to sneak through. The ground balls that we were talking about. We weren't in the right. I wouldn't say we weren't in the right place, but they hit them where we weren't.
Colin McKinney a little bit sharper on Friday night as well.
Yeah, and we need that. We need to get as much out of him as we can on Friday. I think sometimes we go to Casey. We know Casey's reliable. Hence, I'm talking about. And, I just think if we can get 6 out of McKinney, boy, what's that weekend look like now? And now you could probably have Casey pitch a couple and then come back on Sunday and be available. That would be huge for us. So, that's what I'm looking forward to this weekend against Oklahoma State.
And that's what was so key, I guess, really what you had last year is you had those starters that could give you length, in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah,
no doubt about it. That was sort of what I was talking about in the interviews with the announcers going into the ASU series. I think ASU, especially Friday and Saturday, have really established their starters with Jacobs and Martinez. Of going deep, and even in losses, if your guy can go 6-7 innings, it helps the weekend. And it sort of looked like we did last year with Jackson Kent and then Candiotti. The X factor for us last year was Walty, really. I mean, when you have a Sunday starter that goes as long as he was going, your team's going to be really good.
Chatting with Chip Hale, the head coach of your Arizona baseball team, before tonight's game against the New Mexico State Aggies, opening up a homestand here. We had talked last week with you, and you had mentioned that you were maybe looking to potentially put one of your corner infielders in the outfield. You ended up doing that with Andrew Kane. What went into finally making that decision that let's give him that opportunity out there and see what he can do?
I just think we need his bat in the lineup somehow, and we kind of went defense at third base with Morant, and so Maddox becomes a DH, and then Kane gets left out. So, with the situation with Summerhill, Adams was struggling a little bit and just tried to get a little more defense in a smaller ballpark, to be frank with you. Left field here at High Corbett is really hard to play, so Andrew will play right this game tonight and see how that goes. It'll be interesting. I think we're starting to see a little bit of healing in the Summerhill injury and some hope maybe that he can be back within the month, so we're excited. But we need to get Andrew's bat in the lineup. If that means that Maddox plays third base more, then that may be what we have to do. But he's sort of forcing his way in there.
And it paid off with 2 home runs that Kane hit in that series. I know the last time we talked about 3-4 weeks ago, he was struggling at that time. And it seemed like last year he struggled at the beginning and started to come on. Is that maybe just sometimes younger guys, does it take some a while to get going at the plate?
Yeah, Toby DeMello, our hitting coach, said the same thing. He said, this was about the time that Kane heated up last year, and so he's getting comfortable. The one thing and we saw it in his last at bat in the ninth off of the reliever Kelly, who throws extremely hard for ASU. He whacked one right back up the middle, a line drive, and there's not velocity that can beat Andrew Kane. So, especially with some of these teams in the Big 12 that are going to throw some velo at us, we need his bat in the lineup, and he's getting more confident, and he feels good in the outfield. He had a couple really tough plays, and you can't blame him for not catching them. That's gonna. And we told him that. We said, hey, don't worry about it. Things go weird. Just keep your head up and keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't. I mean, it's hard to replicate the sky when the sun's going down in practice.
Right, no doubt, and it happens here all the time to us and to the other team. But that was a weird time of the day. And what we did was we have him play deep. So, anything in front of him is a single. We don't want doubles and triples. And what happened was the guy hit it short, and he ran as hard as he could to get to it, and, of course, he overran it and then kind of lost it. But that's what happens, and that's what, as a head coach, and when you put lineups out there, you build it for the offense or you build it for the defense, or you try to do, kind of play the middle game, and that game we wanted more offense, so we have to deal with defense.
Chip Hale joining us, head coach for your Arizona Wildcats. We had a chance last week to talk to transfer Julian Tangini, who came over from Indiana, had worked with Kevin Vance at Boston College. Is that a lot of times when you're looking to maybe add a piece, you look to a guy that maybe you know or have some relationship with in that respect?
No doubt, yeah. And when Julian went into the portal, I know he had talked to Kevin right after, and they have such a good relationship. And Julian's got just, major league type stuff. And, he struggled a little bit on Sunday for us, and it was just strike throwing, because when he throws strikes, very few teams hit him. So, we have a few guys like that, if they're on, it's really tough to hit them, but we just have to make sure they're ready to go with throwing strikes.
What's the pitching plan tonight for New Mexico State?
We're going to start Jack Berg,
okay,
who hasn't had a whole lot of innings pitched. He threw pretty well last week to some hitters. And we need to find some lefties. Mason Russell, we're trying to get going. Eric Orloff, of course, has been here a long time. He's reliable to come in and pitch. But we're looking for somebody who can really get out lefties. So let's give Jack a look tonight. And obviously maybe an inning if he does well, maybe 2. And then, Garazar will be in there, and Hilker and those guys. And then we'll hopefully get to the end with a lead and use our bullpen.
Garazar has been so good in these midweek situations. Has he earned the opportunity to get a little bit more on the weekends as well?
Yeah, and he did. He has at times. It's just that, like you said, he's pitched well, and then we've left him in 4 or 5 innings. It's tough to come back on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Joined by Chip Hale, the head coach of the Arizona baseball team. Chip, obviously you spent a lot of time in the big leagues. I wanted to ask you about these new torpedo bats that we're starting to hear about and a lot of guys are using. When did you first hear about that? Was that something that maybe folks were working on even back when you were still?
First I saw it was when the Yankees talked about it. And they said people used them last year. I saw an interview today. We just we're with Louisville Slugger is our company that we use for bats, and they sent us a prototype of a torpedo bat.
Oh, wow.
So we actually have one in the clubhouse that I think some guys are going to swing today in BP. But it makes sense. Obviously, you're going to want to put the biggest part of the bat where you don't want to hit it on the barrel. So we'll see. I'd like to see how the ball comes off the end a little bit, see if it spins it some different ways. Maybe it makes it tough on the defense too.
Now, how much evaluation in practice or in the cage would you do on that before you would allow maybe one of the kids to use that in a game?
If they wanted to use it and it was a legal bat, because we go through bat testing every day where it has to fit a ring, it has to have a certain pressure. If it passed the test and it's our company, for sure we'd let them use it if they feel comfortable with it.
All right. Well, Chip, best of luck tonight and this weekend against the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Well, thank you, and thank you for all the support. And, we're so fired up about, having this game tonight, of course, but then, Oklahoma State this weekend. It's a big Big 12 series, and love to pack this place.
Absolutely. We'll definitely try to do that. The weather is going to be perfect for some nighttime baseball.
We love the heat.
Absolutely. Chip Hale, the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. We've got some slowdowns on the southbound side of I-19 approaching and passing Ajo Way. Backups at Ajo and Mission, southbound and westbound. More slowing southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way. Southbound Nogales Highway approaching Aerospace Parkway also for backups. Collisions reported First Avenue and Glen, Miracle Mile and Oracle. 59 the overnight low, 93 tomorrow, 97 Thursday, and 100 by Friday. And 90 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall is your premier automotive destination in town. Explore the new 2025 Honda models and extensive collection of pre-owned vehicles. Experience no-hassle financing and our no-haggle one-price selection. Visit AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall today.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help.
For your free quote today. That's 1-800-480-5454. Or go to selectquote.com. That's 1-800-480-5454.
Details on example rate at selectquote.com.
Let's take a master's bet and put it in a parlay. I'm Sammy Pete, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM network. Ludwig Oberg finished second at Augusta last year, and I really like his price to finish top 10 this week. But let's wheel it with the Boston Celtics to win the Eastern Conference. This two-leg parlay pays over 7-2. I'm Sammy P. from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. And please, gamble responsibly.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up.
Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
Don't miss out on any of the action.
7-7 bottom of the ninth. Wildcats would love to end it right here.
As the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
2-2 and it's lined to left for a base hit. Bryfogel's going to be waiting around third. Here comes the throw from Hartman. It's headed home. He slides. He's safe. And the Wildcats have won it. Mikalakis, RBI single.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcasts. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
This is Zach Gelb of the Sports Minute. Usually in a run to a championship in March Madness, the NCAA's men's champion may win a game that they probably should have lost. That's why they say, survive in advance. But let's be real. Florida could have easily lost to UConn, Texas, and Houston, and found a way to win all three of those games. So when I look back at this Gators run, the one thing I will always remember is their resilience and just finding a way to get the job done when it mattered the most. I'm Zach Gelb.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for University Housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
2-0 pitch. 2-0 pitch. That is driven well. Out to right field. Corbin Carroll will watch this one sail out of here. Well, what did Rhino Hearn tell us before the game? He's got some hits against Zach Gallen. No homers. Well, he's got his first long ball. Now he's going to face Eugenio Suarez. Swings first ball. Lifts it short center field. Holiday out. Makes the catch. And tonight in Arizona, you can book it for the Birds.
Diamondback down low.
Baseball talk. That's how it sounded last night on the Baltimore Orioles radio network as the O's come in to open up the homestand with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they get the win by a score of 5-1. Snakes have now lost 3 consecutive games after they looked so good in New York. They went to Washington, got the first win there, and since then they've made the Nats look like they're world beaters. I think the Nats have carried that winning run over into their series against the Dodgers now, and the Snakes have lost 3 in a row to fall under 500 for the first time this season at 5-6. Rough outing for Zach Gallen. 4 2/3 innings. He allowed 5 runs on 7 hits. He walked 4, struggled with his command. He was in the game, though. This was a 2-1 game, in the 5th inning where it all kind of fell apart a little bit for the Diamondbacks, and it started, the bases were loaded for the Baltimore Orioles, and there was one out with Cedric Mullins at the plate.
These hitters, they're not chasing a lot of pitches. They're not aggressive.
2-0, Hardick grounded to second. Tawa bobbles, picks it up with the bare hand. His only play is to first, and that will bring home another run. It should have been a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play, but Tawa just could not handle the heat.
That's too bad there. I mean, he hits this ball hard. Just a tailor-made double play, and he still got an out on it, but Zach knows he could have been out of the inning.
That's just kind of been the Diamondbacks this season. A tool in need of sharpening.
Tim Tawa, the youngster up from AAA to replace the injured Ketel Marte, could not turn the double play on the hard-hit ground ball. The run scores to make it a 3-1 game, and we talked about it at the top of the show as it related to the Arizona Wildcats. You cannot give teams extra outs, because if you do, you're going to pay. Good teams will make you pay, and that's what the Orioles did later in the inning.
0 for 1 is Mountcastle with a walk. The 2-2. Swung on, line drive, center field base hit. Rutschman scores, and now here comes Westberg, and he will score right behind him. It's now 5-1 Baltimore.
Well, that's a team that's capitalizing on a non-play.
A non-play, as you heard Tom Candiotti say there, not being able to turn the double play behind your pitcher and get him out of the jam on a night when he was struggling. That would be the final batter Zach Gallen would face last night. Again, 4 2/3 innings, 5 earned runs, 7 hits. He gave up a home run. He walked 4. The Diamondback starters have been struggling this season at the outset. They have a ERA. This is just the starters. The starters have an ERA of 6.27. And, of course, that includes Corbin Burns, the high-priced free agent, signee from the Orioles, Zach Gallen, your ace, Merrill Kelly, cousin Merrill, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Brandon Pfaadt. Things have got to get better quick with the starting staff, or you're going to be looking at an uphill climb in this division with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And again, like we said, fortunately, the Dodgers have gone on the road, and they have not been quite as hot as they were at home. They've lost 3 games on this road trip, but the Diamondbacks still right now in a 4-game hole, looking up at the Padres, the Dodgers, and now the San Francisco Giants are in the mix as they have won 8 of their first 10 ball games. 5-1 was the final. Let's hear from the skipper, Torey Lovullo, on a night in which the Orioles just played a little bit better than the Diamondbacks did.
I think when you slice it down to as many pieces as you possibly can, we can identify a couple of things. Zach looked like he had really good stuff, but they started to check off some pitches that were strike to balls that were really good quality pitches that either led to an elongated at bat, a walk, or some good hard contact, and he never found a rhythm beyond that first and what looked like the first couple of innings. And he was doing what he could. It was almost like at times they were anticipating what he was going to throw and they knew it was coming. So I know Zach is a great student of the game. He's gonna go back and continue to grind away at trying to be as perfect as possible the next outing. Offensively, we couldn't get anything going. They clearly had a good pitching plan against us. Their pitcher looked like he was cutting it, sinking it on both sides of the plate. Just one click ahead of us. You got to give some credit where credit is due. There were some opportunities there with runners in scoring position. We did not execute at the level that we have in the past. I thought there were some chances to close it up with some really good quality approaches. In those situations, it just didn't happen. And that's part of the game. The bullpen I thought was real good. The Nelly, Thompson, whatever it was, 4 1/3, just kept us in the game, gave us a chance. We just kept pushing. I thought we were going to make a little bit of noise there, but never really got anything going with that big hit I was talking about. So we gotta just flush the good and the bad and have that day one mentality that I've been talking about. I think if we pick up a baseball in the 5th inning, it might be a totally different outcome, but we're built to withstand those moments, pick one another up. It's always not going to be perfect, so we just got to keep reminding these guys to keep getting after it.
After that play in the 5th where Talbot with the ball was like with your hand on her shoulder, what did you say to him?
I just told him it's okay. It's going to be fine. We're going to find a way to get back in this game, and you're gonna have a big moment in this game, and that happens. Just flush it, and we're going to be okay. I've been in that situation as a player. I think everybody that has played this game has been in this situation as a player, and you feel like you're going to sink into the ground, and I didn't want him to. So you could see that he cleaned it up pretty nice after that defensively and made some really good plays, and I was proud of him for that.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. You got a rookie out there in Tim Tawa, just called up just his third game in the big leagues, and he makes a play like Tom Candy said, a non-play, couldn't turn the double play, and the inning fell apart on his pitcher there. And you've got to build a kid like that up because he could quickly lose it, and you're going to need him because, again, you're dealing with a situation where Ketel Marte is going to be out with the hamstring for a significant period of time. Let's hear from Zach Gallen on his outing last night, which was quite uneven.
I don't know, kind of odd from my standing. Didn't necessarily execute like I wanted to. Mixed with, I felt like they had a pretty good approach on, trying to limit chasing out of the zone at the bottom. So, it's kind of tough to execute with, command that I didn't feel was, up to standard. So, they made me work. But at the same time, could have, execute a little bit better. But yeah, from a general standpoint, odd. Not my favorite outing.
Did you think you were out of that 5th inning on that ground ball?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. Just got to make a better pitch, really. Execute a little bit better, and it's just kind of what it comes down to.
Did you talk to Tim Hill after that play?
No, I haven't talked to him. This isn't about that. This is about me. Kind of backing myself into a corner and not really giving myself a chance to stay out there longer. Really just comes down to executing. Free passes, getting behind the count, things like that.
Did it feel similar in any ways to the opening day start?
No, I felt a little bit more in rhythm and tempo. Felt like I had a little bit better stuff today than opening day. I think, like I said, that's why it's kind of odd. Didn't necessarily execute, but I felt like that was mixed with them having a good plan as well. Felt like opening day, I just didn't really have much. So yeah, I tip my cap to those guys over there. They had a pretty good idea what they were trying to do. Executed it pretty well.
The walks in the 5th, do you feel like they were laying off pitches that you were expecting to get swings off of, or were you missing on those?
A little bit of both. I felt like maybe some of the walks earlier in the game were them laying off pitches, and then the walks in the 5th were more of like me just trying to make some good pitches. It was kind of in a tight spot there, so was trying to look for weak contact, look for swing and miss. So yeah, when you get runners on base and you have walks, to me, in my eyes, are a little bit different than just walks early in the game with nobody on, 1 out, nobody on, 2 outs, things like that.
And JW, you know what the Orioles did last night? They took a look at that tape last week from the Yankees game, and they saw all those New York batters swinging over that breaking ball, which is not in the strike zone.
Right.
And they said, we're not swinging at that pitch tonight. We are not going to go out there and chase breaking balls that are out of the strike zone. And that's, 13 strikeouts was what Zach Gallen got in that outing last week in New York. So give the Orioles credit. They were very disciplined at the plate, and give Zach Gallen credit there for not throwing his rookie second baseman who's playing in the third game of his career under the bus.
I mean, I blame the press there in that one. Like, have you gone and scolded the guy who just played his third game for making an error and ruining your day? I mean, you know, like Skip said right there, the last thing you want to do is crush that kid's confidence. Bad plays happen.
And how about this? I just mentioned that the Diamondbacks starters have an ERA over 6. They allowed a run in the first inning last night. They've now allowed 13 runs in the first inning of the last 4 games, of which they are 1-3. 13 first inning runs in the last 14 games. The 13 first inning runs on the season is the worst mark in Major League Baseball right now.
So if Mendoza is 200, right?
Yeah.
What is it if your team ERA is over 5?
Yeah, I don't know if we have a name for that.
There should be.
Not good.
Not good.
Good. Not
Yeah,
good
only
when you
your
win a game.
Guardians, the Athletics, who are playing in a minor league ballpark, the Brewers and Cardinals have worse team ERAs. Only, 4 teams.
Hey, well,
worse.
at least the Guardians did something to improve that today as they got a 1-0 win in their home opener tonight, this afternoon, I should say, on a 35-degree day in Northeast Ohio.
That baseball hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's that cold.
Nobody wanted to go out there and put that bat on the ball today on either side. I think the White Sox pitcher had a no-hitter through at least 6 innings of that ball game today in Cleveland before the Guardians got a run in the bottom of the 9th to win it 1-0. All right, DK on the Sports Tip. We're coming to you live here from High Corbett Field. The fans are starting to line up. The gates will be opening up shortly. We've got you for just under another hour here. 5:50, Brian Jeffries takes over. He'll have the call on tonight's game, Wildcats and New Mexico State. Much more coming up for you straight ahead in the 5 o'clock hour of the show. We're going to hear from the head football coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Brent Brennan, practice number 10 today as we start to whittle down the practices in the spring for your Wildcats. We'll hear from Brent Brennan, who spoke after the Saturday night practice over at Arizona Stadium. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio, 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported at Fort Lowell and Mountain and Fort Lowell, First Avenue and Glen Street and First Avenue, and also Miracle Mile and Oracle. Some slowing on eastbound I-10 approaching the Ajo-Kino connection, southbound La Cholla at Ajo for backups. More slowing Mission and Ajo, southbound and westbound. 59 the low, 93 tomorrow, 97 Thursday, 100 by Friday, and 89 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay. Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at the prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Don't miss out on any of the action as the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
But again, Caleb Love now taking over the game.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. Wildcats.
And you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
It's Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot, so what are you working on? If you're sprucing up your lawn, you know there's no such thing as too much mulch. So don't miss this special buy. 5 bags of Scott's Earthgrow mulch for only $10 at the Home Depot. Promote healthier soil, prevent weeds, and beautify your yard with mulch that maintains its color for up to 12 months. Shop 14 days of deals during Spring Black Friday, now through April 16th at the Home Depot.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We talk Diamondbacks baseball daily.
Overall, inside of our culture, it's built on love, trust, commitment, and effort. And I think love is the glue to all of it.
Love, trust, commitment, and effort. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Coming to you live from High Corbett Field, getting you set for Arizona baseball tonight. It's the Wildcats and New Mexico State. First of 2 non-conference games that these two teams will play against each other. Wildcats entered tonight as the Division I baseball leaders in triples. They now have 20 of those on the season, 6 of which have been delivered by the infield duo of Mason White and Garen Caulfield. They each have 3 each. Wildcats hitting .291 on the season with a team ERA of 4.32. Again, this will be the 71st meeting all time between these two teams. 61 victories for your Arizona Wildcats. The first of 5 straight games here at home. Tonight against New Mexico State, Oklahoma State this weekend. Night games on Friday and Saturday at 6. Day game on Sunday at noon. And then back here at 6 a week from tonight to wrap up the homestand against Grand Canyon. Wildcats will then head out on the road for 6 of 7 with back-to-back Big 12 series in Provo against BYU and then Texas Tech. They'll leave on that road trip early, and I don't even know if they'll come home. We should have probably checked in on that with one Mr. Chip Hale when he was on the show earlier. But they'll go to BYU, and then they play – I'm sorry, they do come home because that game, actually the game in between is a home game. So they'll come home and play a midweek game against UT Arlington, Texas Arlington, on the 23rd of April, and then head back out down to Texas Tech for that weekend. So back-to-back road Big 12 series coming up after this home series against Oklahoma State this weekend. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. We do have a text that came in. It says, somebody responded when we were interviewing Chip Hale, says, ask Chip if he teaches his players to catch pop-ups with 2 hands. Apparently there was a pop-up that, one-handed pop-up that got dropped over the weekend. I'm sure that they do indeed teach their players to catch pop-ups with 2 hands. You should always catch your pop-ups with 2 hands if you're listening, if you're young.
He's not teaching them like to catch it behind their back or anything? Like, isn't that what skippers do? They teach them the most unorthodox way to catch the ball?
Right. I would hope he's not teaching them to catch it behind their back. For sure.
No, I'm being snarky, but what I really mean is I think the fundamentals of how to catch a ball in the outfield is the same from Little League on to the highest levels.
All the way up, for sure. Hey, stay connected with Wildcats Radio 1290 on the go. Download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. You're going to listen to everything. You can listen to tonight's game on the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. You can get the latest news on all of your teams and more all in one place. Download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app from the App Store or your Google Play Store today. The Wildcats Radio 1290 app is sponsored by Goodfellas Home Solutions. Show the Wildcats Radio 1290 crew the 1290 app on your phones. I've got my crew out here right now with us. So show the crew your app, and they are going to tell you how you can enter to win $100. Only at official stops. Visit WildcatsRadio1290.com/winmoney to see what is coming up. So download our app. You can even text the word app, APP, to 520-848-1290. I will send you a link where you can download our app because our app slaps. 520-848-1290 is the number to get on the program. Now, I mentioned at the top of the show, we were out at a tremendous event Friday night. The track reunion was this past weekend. Tracksters from all different eras of Arizona track and field were back in town for the Jim Click Multis and Shootout that was held Friday and Saturday over at Drockman Stadium. We did a number of interviews that we're going to present to you over the course of the remainder of this week's. And the first we're going to give you today, we had a chance to catch up with Tanya Hughes. Tanya Hughes, one of the most decorated tracksters in the history of the program. 4-time NCAA champion in the high jump. So that means officially she won it every single year that she was here. She won an NCAA championship in the high jump. A former Olympian. She was inducted. You'll remember during the Pac-12 years, they had the Pac-12 Hall of Honor. She was inducted into the Pac-12 Hall of Honor, joining the likes of Sean Elliott, Steve Kerr, Richard Jefferson, some of the great basketball players in our program, Megan Ritchie Stone, the only other trackster that has been inducted into what was the Pac-12 Hall of Honor. And probably most importantly, Tanya Hughes was the first of Arizona's 4 NCAA Women of the Year. There's 4 of them. No other school has had as many. Actually, I think one other school, Georgia Tech and Arizona, both have 4 NCAA Women of the Year winners. And Tanya Hughes was the first at this school to hold that honor. Had a chance to catch up with Tanya Hughes, the legendary trackster, Friday night at the Fred Harvey Estate. Okay, we're at the U of A track and field reunion, and I'm standing with Tanya Hughes, NCAA Woman of the Year, correct? Yes. First here at the University of Arizona. I mean, what does it mean to hold that honor here? Because there have been 4, but you were the first.
Yeah, I mean, to be the first was definitely an honor. You know, that's one of the things that I like to highlight with our student athletes is that being here I'm sorry, you might have to do this over.
You're good. Oh, well, no, we got you. No, that's good. There's always good. It's always good to be in the middle of something happening.
But getting back to that, right? You know, the University of Arizona gives an opportunity for you to be really a holistic person. And so winning the Women of the Year was not just about athletic performance, it was academics, leadership, and community service. And so to be the first from the U of A speaks to the caliber of program that we have, but also the opportunity for you to really be a total person as it relates to, you know, growing up.
Tell me about some of the things in each of those areas that you did in terms of the community services you were involved in.
Community service-wise, I mean, I've spoken over 20,000 kids. I used to do camps. I used to go and talk to kids at the schools here locally. As far as leadership, I was the NCAA Student Athlete Chair for the Student Athlete Council. So before, every school has them now, but I was the national chair for the NCAA Student Athlete Council. When it comes to academics, I graduated cum laude, interdisciplinary studies major, in athletics. You mentioned NCAA Woman of the Year, but 4-time NCAA champion, was the American Junior record holder, and Olympic team, World Championship team, so definitely had that opportunity through the great coaching that we had here.
What made you want to come to Arizona?
Well, when I was in high school, I made a U.S. Junior national team, and Bob was a clinician at the USOC. And they had a pipeline program in which they take the top 10 juniors, and for a week in the summer, you would go to the Olympic Training Center. So Bob was a clinician one year. Another year was a woman named Sue Humphrey, who was at Texas. And so it really came down to Arizona or Texas. If I wasn't a Wildcat, I'd be a Longhorn. But I came here because of Bob Myers, and it was a great decision. This is such a college town that really supports its athletes, and you have a lot of opportunities. And so as you see all the folks here, you know, great relationships are formed, but also this community really rallies around our athletes, and that's why I love being a Wildcat.
Is it crazy to see Coach Myers still involved with this program?
It's wonderful because one thing that happened my sophomore year, he actually left the program and became the AD at Solano Community College. And that was devastating to have to go through that. But, you know, to see that he's back and it's full circle, it's an amazing thing for these young people to be able to experience a mastermind as it relates to not just jumps, but biomechanics. And Dr. Myers is absolutely that guy.
What do you remember about his teachings?
Oh, well, we had a notebook. I still have my notebook. You know, so how we trained once we got here in August, you know, periodization, right? Just the cycles of how he made us train in such a way so that we would peak at the right time. My freshman year, I was the indoor and outdoor NCAA champion. And he was like, no pressure. When we went to the NCAA indoors in Indianapolis, he was like, look, this is your first NCEs, just have fun with it. And I won, and one of my best memories is after the meet, you know, it was at the end, it was late, and so with that, we went to Steak and Shake. That was the only thing open after the meet, and that's how we celebrated.
What are the differences, or how do you categorize the differences between indoor and outdoor?
Well, being that we're in Arizona, we don't have indoor facilities like a lot of other schools have that opportunity to do more meets. We go to NAU, I think that was it. We kind of go to NAU and maybe one other meet, and we have a lot less meets to be able to qualify for indoors. And so I would say that's one of the major differences when you're in a warm weather kind of school. And so, but it's very much abbreviated. And I mean, if you make indoor NCAAs, you're not training necessarily to do all that because really it's the outdoor season that you have more time, and so you don't want to peak too soon. So once again, he's a mastermind in terms of training cycle.
When you look at an event like this and all these people coming together from the history of this program, what does it mean just to be here amongst all these different eras, as Coach Harvey put it?
Well, today I've had the opportunity. I've been with most of the high jumpers all day today. We're starting at breakfast, and then we were at the track this afternoon, and we had dinner before we came over. And just the ability to know that this program brought us all together. Maurice is from Paris. She flew in from Paris. We had someone else from Canada. Christina Fink, she was from Mexico. So, I mean, you have so many different cultures that have come to this place for this program. And we were sitting at dinner tonight, and it almost got emotional because we see where we are in life right now, and we know that the thread of U of A and this program brought us together. But the level of success that we're still achieving in our life is just a blessing.
There's, we've been talking all week about, the transfer portal. I mean, we talk about it almost every day, every month nowadays. But it seems like there's a tone that Olympic sports might be in trouble with what's ahead.
Absolutely. And, that's one of the things that I just mentioned over the past year. I have my own management consulting business, and I work with athletes on their businesses and their foundations. But over the past year, really a focus on NIL. My son was a graduate transfer in football, and so as a parent, I experienced his last year, what NIL and what that looked like. And so it really lit a fire under me to just get more educated and also to provide programming for parents and coaches around what this change might mean. And when I was in Paris, just talking to some folks from the USOPC, right, our Olympic sports, when the revenue share happens, they're thinking about 75% is going to go to football. You're going to have another, 10-20% that's going to go to men's basketball. And so what's going to be left for Olympic sports might be less out of the 23 million, might be less than $2 million across all the others, which can, and then when you see that Title IX is not going to be applied to this whole revenue share model, so that means that there may be programs that are going to be impacted because they're not going to have the funding to be able to sustain the number of sports that they've had. And so, Olympic sports are definitely near and dear to my heart because I'm a track and field athlete, but they're also the ones that are going to have to raise this money to be able to sustain their programs if they're going to have the level of success against other schools.
Did you have a number of children that were involved in athletics? Or
yeah, my daughter played basketball at Carolina because I moved from here and was on the East Coast, and so my daughter played basketball at Carolina and then was a grad transfer to Seton Hall. My son played at Jackson State, Bethune, and then at Charlotte. And so,
what did they learn from their mom about athletics?
Well, I hope the thing that they learn the most in life is don't give up. So I always focused on not just athletics, but academics. And my son has a degree, my daughter has 4 degrees. And so to always pursue excellence, what they do know about their mom, and I used to always say, no one wants mediocrity, right? So if you're going to do this, you give it everything you got. So I think that's probably a lesson they might have learned from their mom. We don't do anything halfway, 100. That's it.
Tanya, appreciate you taking some time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Tanya Hughes, one of the greatest to ever do it here at the University of Arizona. I mentioned 4-time NCAA champion in the high jump, 7-time All-American for her athletic duties here at the university. Olympian in 1992. Tanya Hughes, great to get a chance to catch up with her this past weekend at the track and field reunion. She was also a 3-time Pac-12 conference champion, Woman of the Year, the first at the University of Arizona to win that in 1994. We're going to hear from your head coach of your Arizona football team. How are the specialists doing? We need a new kicker. Tyler Loop has moved on, hopefully to the National Football League. We'll find out from the head coach how things are going. DK on the Sports Tip continues after cricket gets you home. Every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions reported Sunrise and Pontotoc and Sunrise Drive, Miracle Mile and Oracle, First Avenue in Glen, and also Fort Lowell and Mountain. Some backups on southbound Nogales Highway approaching and passing Aerospace Parkway. A 59 the overnight low, 93 tomorrow, 97 on Thursday, and probably 100 by Friday. It's 89 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Guess what? Discover's accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
Did you miss the big game?
They need a 3 to get to overtime.
You know we got you covered.
Midcourt, shot is up. Good! Love has hit a 3. We're going to overtime.
Trying to keep it close, and you never give up. I guess that's life in the Big 12.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Rusty's Family Restaurant and Sports Grill, located at Grand Silver Bell, offers a fun vibe with a great happy hour atmosphere. Spring is here, and it's baseball season. Rusty's has more than 45 TVs, broadcasting every sport known to man. They even have booths with personal TVs. Rusty's elevated menu includes delicious wings, amazing burgers, super salads, and much more. See their complete menu at rustystucson.com. Check out Rusty's Beer of the Month, Stacy's Sassy Blonde by Huss Brewing Company, and Sam Adams Cold Snap to celebrate Stacy's 20 years at Rusty's. If you know, you know. Rusty's also carries a large selection of bottled beer, draft beer, wine, and cocktails. Rusty's Family Restaurant and Sports Grill, located at Grant Silver Bell.
And this Friday, we've got a sweet deal for you from Rusty's Family Restaurant and Sports Grill. You can get a $50 gift certificate for just $25. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Quiet down, here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
O'Reilly. Get one free set of Brake Best brake pads when you buy 2 Brake Best Select brake rotors. You can upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for just $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20 more. Visit your local O'Reilly Auto Parts. Offer in store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Download our app. It slaps. Nobody covers Southern Arizona sports like we do. Don't miss out on any of the highlights, stories, and analysis. The flagship home for Arizona Wildcats athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA. The U.S. soccer team defeated Brazil 2-0 in a friendly over the weekend. American superstar Trinity Rodman scored in the 5th minute of the victory. She hadn't played for the U.S. since their win in the Olympic gold medal match last summer. Saturday's tilt against Brazil was the first ever professional women's sporting event in the history of SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Over 32,000 fans were on hand to watch head coach Emma Hayes and her U.S. squad grab another impressive victory.
I'm so proud that we have a team that's so representative of the United States. And I look across the crowd and I'm like, there's so many people that are looking at our team and going, I can see myself down there.
The U.S. soccer team will face Brazil in another friendly tonight at 10:30 Eastern. A reminder that you can hear that match on the all-new Westwood One Sports app. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Erica Herskowitz on Westwood One.
Every day when we're on the road, people around us endanger themselves and others by looking at their phones while driving. There's the sneak-a-peeker who darts their eyes between the road and their texts, or the nightlighter who illuminates their car after dark. If that's you, reconsider before you find yourself becoming the fender bender-er, the got a ticket-er, or worst of all, the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We are getting close to baseball here at High Corbett Field. Wildcats in New Mexico State. Coverage begins at 5:50 with Brian Jeffries. First pitch a little after 6 o'clock here for tonight's midweek game. JW, you know what we just got from Dallas, Texas?
What's that?
The arrival of Adia Barnes on the Learjet, getting off the plane at her new location with her new boss, Damon Andrews, the recently hired athletics director at Southern Miss University. So we've got that. We've got that now. A number of players on this year's team are joining her there. Maylene Rolfe, has committed to go to SMU, as well as Sanaya Ja is going to go to SMU, as well as Paulina Paris. So that's 3 players. So basically, there's nobody left.
Yeah.
Whoever's going to coach this team next year is going to have to Tucker DeVries it.
I was just going to say
I should say
we got a West Virginia situation going on
We're
here.
going to have to Darren DeVries it next year here at the
And
university.
for those who don't know, I'm not booing Adia by any stretch. I love Adia Barnes. Booing the idea of Adia Barnes no longer being the head coach at the University of Arizona.
Exactly. All right, let's hear from the head football coach here at the University of Arizona. His name is Brent Brennan. Practice number 10 today. They were at the stadium for, I think they called it Desert Nights on Saturday night, and we got a chance to hear from Brent Brennan, get an update about midway through camp on how things are going.
Obviously, we had a great group there. We had fans. We had a bunch of recruits. It was just an awesome environment. It was fun to change it up a little bit and give our guys a little bit, just a little different feel for the practice environment. It was great to be, in the stadium at nighttime and just the energy and the players and what they brought to the practice environment. I think we're making great progress in our effort to, constantly be living the red line. And just we've talked so much about that, but just really establishing what kind of effort we're going to play with, and what level we want our execution to be, and just how intent we can be with our accountability to one another. Just the consistency of that, and we're building on that. I love the momentum we've got with this football team. It's been really exciting. It's been a lot of fun, and we got work to do. We got 2 weeks left of spring practice, culminating with the spring showcase on April 19th. So we got a lot of work to do, but I love where this team's at.
So can you kind of describe maybe the growing pains or some of the things that you had to work through in regards to the offense, and how have they improved over the last few weeks?
Well, I think it's been fun. I think you've heard me say it before, but when you're in spring practice, if it's too lopsided one way or the other, that normally doesn't bode well, for the fall. But the exciting thing that we're seeing right now is just the players are competing so hard on both sides of the ball. Obviously, there's a lot to learn, right? So just that process of the guys diving into the details of their assignments, and everybody, doing everything they can to execute at a high level. But the offense, you've seen them making some real progress the last 3 practices, and I think that's something that's really exciting. There's been moments in those earlier practices, but obviously everything is so new, and there's also a lot of new pieces. It's not just a new scheme. It's 34 new players on the roster. So. But I love what Coach Daggy is doing, the energy, the intention, or the kind of the aggressiveness of the scheme, and just how the players are leaning into that. That's been a lot of fun. And then I think, watching what Coach Gonzalez and the defensive staff are doing, it's really good. So we're really trading punches, and there's, throughout practices, or, sometimes it's day to day, but there's definitely moments where we're trading punches, and guys are taking, the offense is taking turns, putting together good series and good drives and sustaining. And then all of a sudden there's also, lots of good defensive plays being made out there with just people in the backfield and sacks, or, so I like where we're at.
Jason and Michael, 2 questions.
Oh, here we go. What's up, man?
The benefit of getting recruits on campus, unofficial visits that you did tonight on their own dime and all that, just being able to have them come out here.
Well, it's so big time. I think the really one of the best things, if not the best thing we have going for us, I think, is the people in our building, right? So that's the coaches, the support staff, the training staff, like everybody that is going to be, that's Tobruk, Blaine, and Beyond Football, everybody that's going to have contact with the players when they get here. And so for the recruits to have a chance to spend time with them, to get a feel what it feels like to be in our building, that's a critical piece of it. And so the more opportunities we can have to have recruits on campus and spend time with them, give them an idea what I'm all about, give them a chance to be around our players, give them a chance to be around our staff, I think that's a huge opportunity for us to really aggressively hopefully be in the hunt with a lot of these high-profile players.
And then we talked about Noah learning the new offense and all that. The receivers, in terms of the route tree and all that, how much of a transition, I guess, is that from what they knew last year to what they kind of have to learn this year?
Well, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think there is some new stuff that is a little bit different, but then there's also, route trees are route trees, and, there's not a ton of like brand new routes that we've never heard of being run right now. conceptually, or how you package it all together, or how you formation it, or whether you play fast or whether you play slow. Those are all the things that kind of, are nuanced offense to offense. But I think our guys have done a good job. And I think that receiver group is a bunch of fast learners, and you're starting to see them make plays in practice with some consistency. And I think, that's giving Noah some comfort too. But last week in practice, I was standing out there with Noah after one of the team periods, and just, we tend to talk a little bit in between periods, and I'm just like, how'd it go? And he's like, I love this offense. So I think we're moving in the right direction.
Michael and Troy, what have you seen from Javen Watley so far?
Nunu? Uh-oh. Is that nickname out there? It is now. But he's just been a great addition. He is a guy that's played a lot of football, and that was one of the things that was really important to us when we were going after players in the portal. We're just guys that had experience playing the game. And he's a playmaker. You can see him. He's great with the ball in his hand. He's a tough kid. And I think because he has played, he understands how to block. He understands how to run routes. He understands coverage. Some of that experience sometimes, or in this case, is accelerating the process of him settling in here because he has played football. So when we're like, hey, we need you to go dig out that safety, he knows exactly what that means versus someone that's maybe never had to do that before.
Obviously, with the new playbook, the up-tempo, there was an emphasis of getting to the line, getting up and all that. How do you think the offense has dealt with that in their development from practice 1 to now, and then specifically the offensive line, how they're adjusting to the up-tempo?
I think it's a combination because there's times where we play fast and there's going to be times when we slow it down, right? But I think more than anything, I think the consistency with Big Josh as the offensive line coach and his comfort in the scheme, spending so much time with Coach Daggy over the last few months, those guys are really leaning into that. And we're excited about the progress there. I think we're still playing a bunch of people there, which is really what you want to do in spring practice. You want everyone to get a chance to show what they can do. I mean, that's what spring ball is all about. And so we're cycling a bunch of guys through that offensive front, and there's moments where it looks brilliant, and there's moments where it looks messy, and we're trying to, minimize those messy moments. But they're coming along nice, and I think Josh feels good about where we're at.
We're going to get a chance to talk to Javen and Chris tonight. Obviously, everybody's learning a new offense, but what can guys who have experience, like you were talking about, do to help accelerate that learning for the rest of the team?
Well, I think, number one, they can start by modeling the way, right? Like they can be consistent with displaying that they know what to do. Like that's one of those ways where everyone's like, oh, these guys that got here, 8 weeks ago are locked in and making plays because they know what to do. And their maturity is giving them a chance to do that, right? They've played in big games. They know what those things are. They understand offensive schemes. And so for them, it's how quickly can I digest all of this and then actually put in the application of what we're trying to do down in and down out. And you've seen that from both of the guys that you guys are going to talk to tonight in pretty quick fashion.
Some coaches have talked about joint practices and just kind of ways to modify the spring. What do you think about that? And
I think it's a really interesting idea. I know there's a high level of success with the NFL teams that do that, or they really think it's a valuable thing. So I'd be interested in continuing the conversation and seeing if that's something that people kind of move in that direction. I think the biggest question would be can we do that and get good work without it turning into something that we don't want to be a part of, right? Which sometimes you see that on Hard Knocks, right? Where all of a sudden there's a football practice and then it's a 40-on-40 fight, and you're like, just no one's getting better at football right now. But I think it's a great idea. I think it's an interesting idea. I think what some of the people are talking about is progressive, and I think that'd be fun. If that's the way that we go with college football, then let's go.
Besides Genesis Smith, who is a defensive player who's consistently showing up on film or messing things up for the offense?
I think, some of the usual suspects. I think, Trey Smith is doing a great job. I think that's been a lot of fun to see him to continue to improve and continue to grow in his role. Dalton Johnson is, a leader and a senior, and just those guys that have played a lot of football. But then, it's also fun to see some of the new guys kind of step in there. and make some plays. And I think that's one of the fun things. I guess the different thing about college football now is that you used to not be able to replace so much of your roster if you lost it or guys left or whatever. But now with the portal, in lots of cases, you can add good players in a relatively short time frame that do have experience and do have a chance to make a real impact, or have a chance to make a better impact than maybe a true freshman might be able to. So that part's exciting.
What have you seen out of the X guys like Trey Spivey and Brandon Phelps, and what's the next?
Those big bodies?
Yeah,
the big bodies are doing a good job. I think it's great to have see Brandon Phelps healthy and making plays again, and I think he's a guy that when he was a freshman last fall, we were really excited about him, and then he got dinged up and he was unavailable, and that's one of the unfortunate things about college football or about the game of football. But so far, he's had a really good spring, and I think everyone on the team's excited about him and excited about his future. And then also with Trey, Trey's a guy that has played some football, and he does have some experience. And I think if you watch Trey practice, it looks like he's having a lot of fun. He's having a great time playing at the University of Arizona. He's learning, he's making plays. I thought he had a really good day today. So I am excited about the receiver group because I think we have added some really good pieces there. And I think the work that they're putting in and the coaching they're getting from Bobby Wade, how they fit in this scheme with Coach Deggy, is something we all should be excited about.
And we will hear more from head coach Brent Brennan coming up for you after cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions reported Stone and Grant. Grant and Stone, the Foothills, Sunrise and Pontotoc. Pontotoc and Sunrise Drive. Also, First Avenue and Glen, and some slowing on northbound First Avenue at Glen. 59 the overnight low, 93 tomorrow, 97 on Thursday, 100 by Friday, and 88 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big. But there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
Rusty's Family Restaurant and Sports Grill, located at Grand Silver Bell, offers a fun vibe with a great happy hour atmosphere. Spring is here and it's baseball season. Rusty's has more than 45 TVs, broadcasting every sport known to man. They even have booths with personal TVs.
Sneak-a-peeker who darts their eyes between the road and their texts, or the nightlighter who illuminates their car after dark. If that's you, reconsider before you find yourself becoming the fender bender-er, the got a ticket-er, or worst of all, the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah, see that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh boy.
Hey guys, It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaskifications? That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does. Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average, the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow. Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
Okay, everybody's hungry. Burgers sound great. Let's find a spot nearby.
Hey there, great burgers.
Seafood? What's wrong with this thing? We want burgers.
Excuse me? Ma and Pa's Burgers, no waiting.
Oh, well, everyone good with pizza instead?
Can she seriously not see us?
No, they can't see you. Because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants, you are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, it is your Desert Diamond Casino replay. We're hearing from the head coach of your Arizona Wildcats, Brent Brennan, on the football side. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet. Let's hear more from Brent Brennan after Saturday's practice on where the special teams stand at this point of spring ball.
The kicking and punting so far in camp, that is always a work in progress. I thought Michael hit the ball well today when we did the field goals, in practice and some of that stuff. And then I think where we're at with the punt game, that thing continues to evolve. Obviously, Michael did it for us a year ago. They've been going back and forth in that battle, and I think we haven't decided yet exactly where we're at with the punter situation. So, as we progress through spring, I'll probably have a better answer for you.
2 questions. The first one, there were a couple balls tonight that it seemed like the receivers.
They couldn't see it? Yeah.
Were they losing the ball in the lights? Is that what was happening? Yeah, notes on this?
3 times on deep balls, we couldn't find the ball. Like, what is that? Yeah, so I'm with you. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Like, I don't know if it was just neither one of you had one. I don't think you did. No. Yeah, JP had one, Mizell had one, and then somebody in the 2-minute. Yeah.
Maybe the lights or something.
I mean, every football stadium they've ever played in has lights, right? So, I think, yeah. So that's something we're going to talk about, and I think, with Isaiah, it might just be that he's a young player and he's still getting used to playing with Noah, and in terms of the trajectory of the ball and where it came out, because it looked to me like they were both kind of looking back, but when you're chasing a ball, and I'm sure these 2 guys in here could tell you, when you're playing a deep ball like that is that far down the field, right? You can't look back. You have to look up, because the ball's up and it's already on you because you're 45 yards down the field.
Both of the guys we're going to talk to here in a few minutes are transfers. We brought in boatload of transfers. What is the process of integrating those guys into the team, making sure that they feel comfortable, welcome, etc.? Is that something do you do anything to facilitate that process, or do you just sort of let it happen organically?
I would say a little bit of both. But I will say that I absolutely think that the Bear Down Brotherhood is something special. It is something that you feel when you're around our team. I think it's one of the reasons that these guys probably chose to come here. Maybe not the only reason, but I bet that's part of it, like how the players on the team made them feel about being here. I think that's a special thing about Arizona football. And, and you can ask them about it, but we also will do stuff off the field, try and get everybody together, at different times throughout the semester that's not football, that it's just hanging out. I think after spring ball, we're going to go watch the draft together. Just like stuff like that, just just trying to give us opportunities to hang out together away from the Lowell Stevens facility or away from the football field, that gives us a chance to kind of just deepen that connection and get to know each other on a deeper level. A lot of that, I do think, is that chemistry is kind of forged and developed when they get here and they start training with Coach Carroll and that staff in the weight room, right? Because they're immediately kind of thrown into the fire. And we talk about a lot with our team about embracing these new players and how quickly can we make them a full part of this football family. And so there is a lot of conversation. I think culture is something that you work for every single day, and living the red line is a real thing. And if we're going to do that, we have to do it for each other.
In a little over a week, the spring portal opens up. Just what's your approach, and how do you think things are going to shake out here?
That's a great question, and I have no idea. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, the portal is part of it. I hope that our players stay. I think we have something really special going. I think they feel it. I think they believe it. And so, but you just never know, you know, because you don't know who is reaching out to them on behind the scenes, on, you know, DMing them or, you know, backdooring those conversations. So our biggest thing is that we try and make sure that we over-communicate with our players, that those channels of communication are extremely open, and that they know where we stand with them, or they know where they stand with us, and we know where we stand with them. And I think that's the healthiest way we can attack it.
All right, that is Brent Brennan, the head coach of your Arizona football team. Your Desert Diamond Casino replay for today brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook. It is Arizona's best bet. That is going to wrap it up for us. Brian Jeffries is coming up next. Real quick, don't forget, we got a sweet deal for you on Friday, 8:30 a.m. over at WildcatsRadio1290.com for Rusty's Family Restaurant. $50 gift certificate for just $25 Friday morning at 8:30. Appreciate Tanya Hughes for the interview Friday night, and Chip Hale out here today for JW Madden, for Cricket, for Dragon Ball, who was off. I'm David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Arizona and New Mexico State coming up next here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Bear down, Arizona. Have a great night, everybody.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More, the place to go for sipping rosés with